Hello, good evening. How are we? Yes, thank God it's Friday. So you are welcome. This is Nwaebiem, your favorite school psychologist. So we've started our self-awareness journey, and all through this week, we've been talking about understanding our why. I hope you went through the tasks. Hope you completed your journals and everything. Seriously, I want to tell you that the educators who make mark most are those who reflect on their practices. And that is what this journey is meant to do for you. So reflect, journal, follow through with the tasks. And I assure you that at the end of these 16 weeks, you will testify, of course. And even your learners will also testify, because I hope you are carrying them on this journey. Thank you. So this evening we'll be talking about our chapter 2 of our workbook, and that is aligning values with teaching practices. Yes, it's very important. The truth is that teaching, we are not just dishing out content. We are relating with people. We are relating with our learners. We are relating with our colleagues. So teaching is relational. It's an emotional journey. It's an ethical act. So the place of our values matters. It influences our practices. So that's where we are concentrating on this evening. And of course, that will be our main area of concentration next week. I hope you are ready for this journey. By the way, I hope you have reset. Hope you are ready. Please, teachers, tomorrow is Saturday. Sleeping. No need rushing up to somewhere or doing this and that. Give yourself time to reset. That's very good. So, values are a compass that guides our decisions, especially in uncertain or high pressured moments. They are compass. The way you react in times where you are under pressure, the way you react in times where you are the way the decisions you make are as a result of your values. So whatsoever you see yourself doing at a time where you are under pressure, whatsoever decision you make, all of them are as a result of what? Values. So it is very important. Teaching, there are times where you are under pressure, your learners, your colleagues, the school management. There are times like that. Those times will come. Whatever you do then is as a result of your values. So when there is a misalignment between your personal values and your teaching practices, it can lead to frustration, it can lead to burnout, it can lead to disengagement. So we are more we are concentrating on our values this week because we want to realign them. And if we have not been conscious of our values and how it influences our teaching, seriously, your values influences your courage, how you carry yourself in the classroom. Your value influences your teaching methods, your teaching practices. It affects your classroom management style. It affects so many things. How you relate, your relationship with your colleagues, with your learners. It influences your relationship with the parents. So your values influences a lot more than you can think of. So what are values? Let's answer that question. What are values? These are principles, these are guidelines, these are standards that guide our behavior and our decision making. Our values are principles, they are guidelines, they influence our decision making, they influence our life, they influence the people we keep around us. In as much as we are talking about values in how values affect our journey as teachers, we can also go on to say that values influence your life choices. Your values influence your friendship, your communication, they influence several things about you. This week I did a brief activity with some of my students as during our beginning of the term section. We were talking about principles, and I asked each and every one of them, what is that one principle, one value system you hold so dear? They said so many things, and one of the things I picked out is empathy. Some say they value empathy, some say they value hard work. So we need to be conscious of our values. And if you are listening to me right now and you are not conscious of our values, I think there's an opportunity for you to articulate them. So I want you to choose 5 things you value. 5 things, your value system. What are 5 values that you hold so there? So for me, I value respect, I value decency. In fact, when I told my students I value respect, I value decency, they were like, yes, 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 that's very true. So your values is evident in everything you do. Your students know what you value. I will do this simple task. When you enter class next week, ask them to tell you about you. They will say so many things, and from there you will see that your values are evident to them. It might not be evident to you, you might not be conscious about it, but others, these are part of what forms your reputation. So for me, I value respect, I value honesty, empathy, I value decency, and I value inclusion. That's part of the things. If you're listening to my why, that's inclusion is one of the reasons why, is one of the reasons I am here. So, what are your values? I want you to write them down. 2 things, 5 things you hold so dear, your value system. It can be accountability, it can be justice, it can be empathy. So, what are our values? It can be growth, it can be creativity, it can be structure, equity, curiosity, discipline. So, what are they? Just 5. It's not going to be much. 5. And hold it right there because we'll be using it next time. So, what are teaching practices? They are very broad. Our teaching practices encompasses so many things. Our curriculum choices, our discipline method, the way you discipline your students, the choice of curriculum, the way you discipline your students, your classroom management styles, your relationship with students, your collaboration with parents and peers, and your colleagues. So all these things encompasses everything you do in your teaching journey, everything you do to promote learning, everything you do as a teacher are your teaching practices. So all our teaching practices either reinforces our values or they conflict with our values. See, your practices can conflict with your teaching practices. Yes. Someone might value inclusion, but in class they don't differentiate learning. So it can be for so many reasons. That is why we are here today. Let's see a way we can realign. So examples of ways our values can align with our teaching practices. If you value equity, you should be someone who loves differentiating instruction, or recognizing diverse learning needs and attending to them. Yes, if you are someone who values decency, in your communication with your students, and even in your physical appearance, you are someone who is decent. You don't talk anyhow. I've seen a particular an educator that was telling me that in the process of trying to correct a particular student, he had to call the student a fool. Like, no, you don't do that. So, to that particular teacher, one of his values may be discipline, but the way he's going about it shows that there is a misalignment. So if you value discipline, the way you discipline students should reflect it. If you value decency, the way you talk to learners should reflect it. The way you appear before your learners should reflect it. So if your value is creativity, are you incorporating project-based or open-ended assignments? So these are ways our values and our teaching practices can align. But we notice that sometimes there is a value practice gap. Sometimes there is a misalignment. So you see someone who values something and yet it is not reflecting in their teaching practices. You see someone who values accountability and it is not reflected in the way he reports to duty, is not reflected in the way he relates with parents, the way he relates with parents. So that is a misrealignment. That's a gap. So we educators, we often experience a gap between what we believe and what we practice. It's not as a result of hypocrisy. Most times it's not as a result of hypocrisy. Sometimes it is the system we find ourselves in. You can value equity, you can value inclusion, but you find yourself in a school that doesn't value it. And this a school might say they value inclusion, and with the way there are no intervention for special learners and things like that. So it happens. It's not as a result of hypocrisy. Sometimes it's the system, sometimes it's pressure, sometimes it is time limits, and sometimes it is just an unconscious habit. So, for example, somebody can value student voice, want students to express themselves, but is the person is always lecturing, the normal talk talk method, the normal traditional teaching. So somebody might value curiosity, but is just teaching to ensure that the learners passes his test. Someone might value inclusion, but uses a one size fits it all kind of instrument or teaching aid. So, why does this matter? Why does value matter in teaching? Why does this gap? Why does this gap actually matter? Why should we be concerned about it? So, a misalignment causes internal conflicts and stress. When you find yourself believing one thing and doing the other, you find out you are mentally stressed out. You find out that there is an internal conflict. Something is always telling you that, see, you are not getting this right. See, I've been in that kind of situation. I know how it can be. So again, students can sense that we are not being authentic. And because they are sensing that we are not authentic, they can't trust us, they can't learn, they are not open to learning from us. So there is often, like I said before, you experience burnout easily when you don't understand how to align your values with your teaching practices. So, how then can we align our values to our teaching practices? Number one is to identify our core values. So, right now, you know that five things, that five value system you wrote out, you are going to be doing something there. You are going to be revisiting it. Revisit what are your top three in those five value system, in those five things. What are your top three? So you have written them out now. So you are going to be asking yourself, how does these three show in my classroom? You are going to be reflecting. How does it show? Those three things. How have I been putting it at work in my classroom? Our reason for doing this is that so you will know where the disconnect is coming from. So, step two is observe yourself objectively. That's what you are going to be doing this next week. You are going to be observing yourself, record a lesson, then ask any teacher to observe you. You can record, observe by yourself, or you can ask a teacher to record, observe, and tell you where those three things you wrote out came into play while you were delivering your lesson. Or you can journal your decision over a week. So if you can't do the peer supervision aspect, journal, use that handbook, that workbook, use it for over a week. Then by Friday, you should be able to tell whether your teaching, your values are aligning to your teaching, or you are aligning your teaching to your values. So step three is to audit your practices. In auditing your practices, you ask yourself, is this particular value, is it reflecting? Is it reflecting? That's part of what you will do at the end of one week. Is it reflecting? Highlights, high points of the week. Always, always check your high point of the week. What was that event that stood out for you? So, ask yourself, does your lesson plan reflect this? Is your classroom setup reflecting this value? Is my attitude towards my students, does it reflect this? So audit your practices, then make micro shifts. Make micro shifts. You are not just going to do a total overhauling. When I decided to, include empathy, when I decided to add empathy in my teaching practices, I learned how to say sorry when I am wrong. You know, sometimes it's difficult for we adults to apologize to ones below us. I decided I need to. There was something that happened last week. I was rushing to my office. I needed to get something done. So when I came to the school, to, in the hallway leading to my office, I saw a group of students. They were standing. They were arguing for, I don't know, whatever they were arguing about. So I stood there for a while, thinking they will notice me so that I can pass. They will make way. I'll pass, but they didn't. So what did I do? I used some files and I swatted them. Excuse me. And one of they apologized. They made a way for me. But one of the students was insisting, Auntie, I am not with them. And you swatted me. At that point, I wasn't listening to her. But when I got to my office, I sat down. Something I had to tell myself, you should apologize. I had to go down to her class, called her out, called her and apologize. So this is one way, my value for what? My value for empathy. Because I know if I was in her shoes, I will feel bad. So I apologized. So you can make these micro uh, shifts. Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. How can I include this? At a point when I told myself I needed to, I need to be more creative. I started implementing some things. I started putting in some things in my lesson. I started uh, making my lessons more project based. Started making my lesson more of seminars. I started listening to them. So even before I deliver a lesson, I find creative ways to introduce that lesson to them. So these are micro shifts you can make in your lessons, in your teaching practices. So step 5, how do we align? Revisit regularly. Revisit those values regularly. Make sure, set time to realign. Set time to ask yourself, what part of my value did I what part of my value did I allow to influence my lesson today? Then self-reflection activities. See, you can't be a conscious educator without self-reflection. You can't be an educator that is self-aware without self-reflection. Take your time while you reset, while you reconnect, while you reignite your passion. Take your time to think about those moments where you felt proud about your teaching. Ask yourself, what value did I honor in this moment? Ask yourself. So this thing is something you can do at the end of every school day. This is something you can do at the end of every school week. So that's it. So allow time to reflect on your practices. It helps. So with that said, I believe we will go back, and for next week we will be very, very conscious of our values. Remember, to align our values to teaching practices, we will do what? Identify our core values, observe ourselves objectively, audit our practices, make micro shifts, and revisit regularly. Then we will self reflect. Above all, I want to encourage you to use this handbook, The Conscious Educator. Use it for next week. It's going to teach you a lot about aligning your values with your teaching practices. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We'll be bringing you lots and lots of solutions to our teaching and learning experiences. Thank you very much. It's such a wonderful time out here with us. And I wish you a very happy weekend. Remember, reset, reconnect, and reignite your passion for the new school week. Thank you. Bye.